can't even begin to tell you how I did not look forward to coming to work today. And that's very rare for me. There's very, very few days where I don't look forward to going to work, but today is definitely one of them. So here on the job site, it's spitting snow. It's supposed to get harder throughout the day. And it has been getting harder from what I've seen just the short time I've been here in the area. We've got 10 degrees. It was a balmy 14 when I left my house. I left a little later this morning. I knew there was no need in getting over here super early because, well, we'll be lucky if these things want to start. The skid steer I'm sure will start, but I'm just going to let it sit here and run for a couple hours, and hopefully it'll break loose and we'll be mobile. But we'll try to get the 440 started. I'm going to, if I have to, I think we can hook the jumpers to it, give her a little sneeze of ether. She should fire up. We'll let it sit there and run a little bit, get it warm. Then we're going to try to drag logs. Like I said, I am just not looking forward to this. It seems like when I was younger, I used to think dragging in the snow was awesome and cool. You kind of grow out of those things, don't you? I definitely, yeah. Like I said, I laid in bed last night thinking about what I had to do today. I'd rather cut than drag. I do not want to be on this cold skidder today. Let's see if we can get this thing opened up. Maybe. Come on now. That ain't good. There's ice in there. There we go. So the skid steer won't move and the skidder won't start. It's cold. I mean, that old thing, it probably needs a set of rings anyway. It's not really smoking too much, but the compression just ain't there like a fresh engine, and it's cold weather starting's hard. You can do is try to leave the cables hooked up to it and keep going. I hate to use too much ether because ether's one of those things, kind of a little dabble do ya. I don't like to give them too much. And this thing, like I said, it fired right up. We got hydraulic function, but there's just enough mud that's in those hard to reach places that it's going to keep her froze down. I've got my hammer and chisel. I'm going to try to chisel some of that stuff out of the rollers. I don't think it'll make much of a difference, but kind of pass the time while we keep working on this thing. It might just be one of those weeks where we're better off. Al, you said it best, when it gets that cold, you're better off just letting it set instead of break stuff. And I'm about to that point where, because I get frustrated easy, and then when I get frustrated, I get to ramrodding around, and that's when you break stuff. So, man, this just might be one of those weeks where we're money ahead, just to sit in a coffee shop or try to buy some more timber. It's awful hard to log when your equipment either ain't wanting to run or ain't wanting to move. So I was just about to give up and go home. I couldn't get it started. Spent over an hour messing with it. It's hard for me to give up or quit on anything, and I was like, I'm going to give her one more shot. And she fired up. It's been running for about 30 minutes, so big portion of my morning spent just getting machines up and running. I've got the skid steer running. If you notice, I've got my truck. I leave my truck running in cold weather, but I've got my truck where the exhaust is kind of pouring onto those tracks on that one side, that final. So hopefully if we can get one side kind of thawed out enough to where it'll bust loose, we can bust the other side loose. Of course, the machine's running, so we'll let the heat of the machine kind of build up as well and hopefully kind of radiate around it. Well, it's doing that. We're going to try to get some logs out and try to salvage this day. You know, there's really, if I had my grapple skidder, we could whip these out real fast, but on this cable skidder it takes a little more time. But hopefully we can get about the majority of them out on the deck today. Now, I'd like to have the skid steer running so we could sort these things out and get them laid out before we could get this job finished up for the week, but we'll see what happens. cold as it is, you still manage to find some soft spots. Kind of right here under this hill where the drainage is. You'll probably have to get real cold for that to ever firm up. So, I told you about how walnut gets really brittle when it's cold. Here's the harsh reality of what that'll do. Yeah, it's pretty sickening. One of the better trees on the job. Popped her right like a canoe, right down the middle. Which we can still salvage quite a bit in it. But still, it definitely didn't help it. I mean, and I've seen them take it all the way to the stump. I mean, just put them right right down the middle. And it's sickening, and sometimes even like this, you swing things, you try to push it, you don't think there's anything that can go wrong, and all it takes is just a little bit and tragedy strikes, and it never fails. It's on a big tree. It's just a harsh reality of it. I mean, it's money out of my pocket because I've still got to pay for the tree. And it sucks. This timber right here is in kind of bad shape. You can see all this dead stuff laying on the ground. A lot of trees, snags, dead, dying. Here's a pretty good walnut, not super big, but good, but see right there we got trouble. So this is one of those times where if you can hang it up, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's so much around here, around this tree, that wherever you fall it, you're going to fall it into something. And yeah, we could probably shoot that gap right there, but I'd worry about hitting on that crotch just wrong. So I think what we're going to try to do is just follow it straight back to the north. More or less right in towards there. I didn't bring my tripod with me because I didn't really know that I'd be doing much cutting today. Right about 5 o'clock here. We're going to go ahead and shut things down. We got just a few more to get in the morning. This being one of them, that being one of them, and I think that big one up there on top of the hill you see, which we'll probably have to pull it. So, not a bad pile of logs. All in all, I think there are, 62 or 63 trees total, what we've got cut right now. And I'm guessing around 160 board foot of tree average. The height is what they've really got going for them, just like this tree here. I mean, they've got some sweep in them, a lot of them do, typical river bottom timber, but they're good clean logs. That'll keep the price up on them. It's another brisk day, guys. I don't know what the temperature is, but it hasn't come up much at all, and I'm about froze. But luckily, we've just about got this job wrapped up. Tomorrow is going to be the last decent day, I guess you want to say, for a while. It looks like the 10-day forecast is pretty rough. And who knows, they could be wrong about all that. I hope they are. They've missed a lot of it so far on when it's supposed to hit and what it's supposed to do. So who knows, we'll see. Both ways. Here's another little bunch of them. Of course, that little brush pile there, I didn't do that. It was like that. They've cut some of these. That's all that is out there is walnut. It looks like some of this was actually planted right there. That's what it kind of looks like. Now that I think about it, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Regardless, it's a mess, and it looks like they've tried to cut some of it out. You know, the natural stuff that's growing wild back there, I hate to see a lot of that, the smaller stuff cut out, just because that's our future. That's my future, that's my client's future. Yeah, I like to see that stuff grow. Like I said, they're not super big trees. They're fairly clean, just typical river bottom timber. No big busters in here. Just some, I guess the only big buster was the big buster I busted. Sappy trees. Not, honestly, some of them, for what they are, where they're growing, they're not terrible on the sapwood, which is good. Like I said, clean logs. I'm cold and delirious, so I'm sure I'm repeating myself time and time again. This job across the street here, across the road, a lot of big trees out there. We're still working on that one. Hopefully we'll get that bought. I really want to cut that. That's where the skid steer and grapple shines. Jobs like that. Just like the one here about 2 months ago, where we just logged the whole thing with the deer and the grapple. Those are fun. It's a lot of chainsawing work, but they're fun. Guys, I'm cold. I'm going in. I apologize for the videos the last 2 days now. I really didn't think I'd do much cutting today, so I didn't bring my tripod, and I kind of wish I'd have brought my tripod because, well, ended up doing some cutting. Ice. Anyway, yeah, they're boring videos, but I've been told time and time again now, whether they're boring or exciting, I need to put a video out. So definitely every day in the woods is not a fun, awesome, exciting day in the woods. But from what I see, yeah, it's days like today where you're just scrambling and you're trying to get as much done as you can to try to race the weather. It's harder for me to video on days like that because honestly, videoing takes up a lot of my time. It takes a lot of time out of my day, all the way from filming the video to editing the video. It's a lot of time to do it. It really is. So on days like today, where we're really scrambling and racing to get things done, it's sometimes hard to piece together clips to get decent shots, decent footage, decent action to put a video together. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and wanting to see all the boring stuff, even though today's like today are fairly fast-paced and kind of exciting. I don't know. Guys, I can't even thank you enough for following along. It means the world. Thank you so much for all you guys that comment day after day, video after video. It means the world to Dad and I know I say that all the time, but it's true stuff. I mean, it really does. I still can't believe some of you guys want to see this stuff every day, even days like today where it's boring. I'm rambling. I'm going home. See ya. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.